Okay, it's recording now. So we already got the side view. Now we need to look for the top view. So let's take a look at one that is let's take a look at this one. How big is this image? Okay, this is very good. 1500 by 1500. So right mouse click, open image in new tab. See whether I can find the isolated image. Okay, this is very good. Very high resolution. I'm going to save this image as JPEG. Okay, good. So now I got a side view, I got a top view. For this particular mouse, right, it's symmetrical, so I need to just model half of it. Now, I do not know what the bottom looks like. I'm going to bring these two images into my project folder first. And then I'm going to create a custom reference folder for it. Source images, and then, because right now my source images folder is very messy, I'm going to call it mouse ref for mouse reference. Then paste it here. And I'm going to rename this accordingly. So change my view to extra large icons. So this one is the mouse top view. And then this one is the mouse side view. Now because I don't have the actual mouse with me, right, I have to use a little bit of my imagination to model the bottom part and then the sides as well. Okay, so I'm going to open up one of the image in Photoshop and then compile them together. So right now basically I'm going to create my blueprints to help me to model the mouse. Okay, so we have our side view. Now for this side view, right, I want to rotate it 90 degrees. And it's a good thing that this image is already in square, but that doesn't really matter because I'm going to combine this image with the top view. So first I'm going to go to image adjustments, or rather image rotation, rotate it clockwise 90 degrees. Okay, and then I'm going to go to image resize. Going to resize it to 1500 pixels, just the same as the other image. Okay, even though I resize it, right, the resolution still looks good. Okay, now I'm going to open up a new image, which is the top view. So right mouse click on it, open with Photoshop, or you can just drag into Photoshop, but right now I'm just used to just right mouse clicking and open. So for this image, I'm just going to press Control A to select all, then Control C to copy. Then going over to the side view, I'm going to press, no, not yet, without pasting it yet, I'm going to go to image canvas size. I'm going to click this button, right, so that the canvas will grow to the side here. And the width, right, I'm going to double it to 3000 pixels so that I have an extra space on the side. Then now I can press Ctrl V to paste my layer and then move my layer to the side. Using the, actually right now you can see that the side view is perfectly lined up to the edge. So that means, right, I need to rescale my top view. Now to pan in Photoshop, you just tap onto a space bar, left mouse click and drag. Okay, then click on selecting the pasted layer. Press Ctrl T and then scale it up until the edges, right, are touching the top and bottom. So now we know that we have our image lined up. So it's very rare that we can find good quality top view and side view reference. Now to verify whether the image reference is working, we can drag down guidelines to see. Okay, now press enter to finish the resize. Now I can drag down guidelines from the ruler, and you can see that the roller wheel does end here. Then the top button here, yes, it does end here. And then what about the border of the buttons here? Yeah, it does end here. So this is just for me to verify that the images is properly lined up, everything is proper in scale. So now I want to switch over to canvas size. Then I'll make everything 3000 by 3000. So remember about the square rule, just to make everything square, so that when I bring in these images, right, I have, it will not be distorted. Do a quick export file, quick export as a PNG. Then I'm going to put it back to mouse reference again. Now I'm going to call it mouse ref PNG. Go into Maya, create a square image plane. Reduce the segments. Scale this up. Okay, and you know that we're going to put our image reference onto this by applying a surface shader. Okay, I'm going to press number 6 so that later I can see the texture immediately. Okay, so now we brought in our mouse reference image. So remember, we need to orientate our images properly. So same thing, we're going to rotate this 180 degrees. So press E to rotate, holding down the J, grab the green line and rotate 180 degrees. Okay, go to the top view. Remember, for your top view, whether you're doing a car, airplane, everything, right, your top view, right, your object that you're modeling should always be pointing down. Right, it must be pointing down. Okay, it's very easy for me to line up because we can see the center lights, right, that is lining up for this particular mouse. Okay, going to perspective view. I'm going to duplicate another plane, holding down the shift, and then clone another layer. Press E to rotate, holding down to J to snap rotate 90 degrees. Then I'm just going to move the mouse until it is on the same level. Okay, we need to push this behind the grid so that I can move this until the ground level is matched. Alright. So now, if we go to the right view, it matches. We go to the front view, we got no front view, so we don't know what the front view looks like. Actually, I can try my luck to see whether I got front view or not. I do have a front view, but it is not taken professionally. Okay, but at least I have a front view. I'm going to just borrow some of the amateur cameras or photos that are taken by other people as a reference. So maybe I think it's this one. So there's a USB charger hole over there. Okay, but do you need to model the USB charger? Well, I think nobody is going to see this, right? So you can leave that empty. You want to save image as, see whether I can save this image. Yes, so I can save it as a front view. I'm going to save it directly into my source images folder. So at least I got a reference. I can see what the curve for the front look like. Now I'm not going to bring this into Maya to model because this is taken with perspective, so there's some perspective distortion. So I'm going to use some creative leverage, right, to model the mouse. So at least now I got some images that I can reference. Is there any 3/4 view? Okay, no. Well, there is this top view here. Don't know whether this is the same mouse. It looks different. Okay, this one. Save image as. Okay, this is a 3/4 view. 3/4 view is also very important for us to check whether the shape of our mouse is correct or not. Okay, now I have enough reference. I can start to model. Okay, like what you all did for your 3D modeling for the planes, right? You can select both of these and then put them in its own layer. Then change them into reference mode. Okay, so using the same method that we did for the airplane, right? The first thing you need to do is just create. I always start with a cube, and then I'm going to split the cube into two. Okay, this is my modeling method lah. So I'll turn off symmetry first. Holding down to Control and then middle mouse click. Then I'm going to delete away half the faces from the top view. Some people like this method, some people don't, but for me, this is my preferred method of modeling. So I'm going to scale this cube up first, then roughly block out the shape of the mouse from the cube, half of the cube first. Okay, so I'm going to move the vertices right until it encompasses the entire mouse like that. Okay, and then the top view, just make sure the width encompasses it. You can turn on X-ray to check. Okay, so now we got the entire box right, matching. Okay, maybe this one, I need to push it up a bit more. Now, if you want to see both halves or what both halves looks like, you can always apply a duplicate special. Okay, instance, let me reset, and then I want to create instance in my -1 x-axis and duplicate special. So we got an exact half on the other side. So you don't always have to mess around with the symmetry. And this thing will play well with the cutting edge loop too as well. Okay, so we always start off with the lowest resolution, which is the box. Then we look at the mouse. Now, if you look at the mouse carefully, right, let me turn back the actual resolution first. If you look at the image very carefully, let me just maximize the view. You'll notice that it's made up of many different sections. Like for this particular mouse shell, the top shell, right, if you look at the seam of the shell, right, it's made up of this section here, like that. So this, from what I can see here, is one section. Then later we have to cut a hole here. In fact, 2 holes here. All right. And then if you look at the bottom here, there is a very thin seam over here. That means we're going to have to separate another piece out for the base here. Then of course, we have 2 separate buttons, which is linked by this piece here. And of course, we have a cylindrical mouse wheel inside that will complete the mouse. So every time before you approach modeling, you must always analyze and look at your target model and then see, right, where can you break the object into different parts. Then based on this part alone, right, I know that I can start to insert edge loops. Like I can guess how many edge loops I need to insert, right, in order to make this particular shell. Then from here, I need to have an edge loop that runs all the way across here. And then there's a transitional shape around here. Okay, so you can draw lines, right, to sort of like figure out where you should draw the lines. You can see that there is a smooth section here that's spread out over here like that. You can see that transition like this. So you must learn how to look at topology lines, right, across your mouse model. So maybe I will approach modeling this section like this. All right. Of course, all of this, right, is open up for interpretation later. Now, there are many ways that we can model the mouse. One of the traditional ways is box modeling, which you guys have seen already many times. It's basically you start by cutting subdivisions and then start to model everything into place. Okay. So I want to show you something, right, that is a combination of both. So first, I'm going to get rid, okay, of the top face. And I want to start by selecting the edge and going down to the bottom first like that. Then for the bottom face, I'm going to delete it as well. Okay, we're going to start with the side, okay, of the mouse using the X-ray view like this. All right, so let's see. We know that we have a, okay, I cannot see this brightness a little bit. I have to just take a close look at this image again. Okay, we know that there's a seam over here. Okay, there's a slope and then there's a gap here. All right, so okay, now I understand this. Let's go to X-ray again. So for this particular bottom here, I will go to vertex mode and I'll move it all the way to here. And I know that it's sloping down to that section. So this bottom section later, right, I will recreate another outline and recreate this shape. Okay, now there's this lip here that goes up all the way here. So I will insert one edge loop here. Insert one edge loop here. Right. And then using my selection, I will select this face and delete it. Select this face here and delete it. Okay, so that I form this particular section here. Alright. Then this vertex, I will push it in. And this vertex, I will push it in like that. Alright. Now this particular one, I'm going to pull it out a little bit. This one, there's a sharp edge here. Pull it up like this. Then go over to my top view. And then you can see this particular vertex, right, should be here. This vertex should be here. And now you can see that our shape, right, is starting to fall apart here because we don't have enough vertices on the side here. But doesn't matter. We just try to get it to match the reference first. Okay, if you don't know which is which, right, you can always split into two views. Okay, so I know which vertex am I pushing. So this vertex should be at the side here. This vertex at the bottom, so correct. Then this one should be here, which is lined up. And what about this one? This one is at the bottom, so doesn't matter. It's being hidden from this top here, so actually it should be going in a little bit more. And maybe this one here. This one is also hidden at the bottom. I think this one should go in all the way here. Alright, so now you can see that there's a narrowing section here, so I need to insert one edge loop right about here. Okay, so you can see the edge loop appears straight down like that. I will grab these vertices, then I will push them forward until it matches the outline. Then I'll gradually add more vertices on the side here, right in the middle, to follow the outline of the shape. And maybe another edge loop here. Okay, I don't know why I cannot cut anymore. Wait, let me check. Oops, I'm in my cutting tool. Alright, here. Middle cut here. Okay, this part here bulges out a little bit, so I will select these vertices and pull it out like that. Okay, so if I take a look at it in perspective view right now, you can see that I've started to create the bottom section like that. Right, if I press number 3, right, you can see that we are starting to form the shape out. Okay, some parts are still not looking very good, but we can easily, like for example, push this area out and then start to match the shape of the mouse. Pull out this section like that. Okay, you see? Just like this. So when it is subdivided, you will be able to follow the section a little bit better. And then for this front section, just pull it out a little bit. Okay, right now I'm just guessing because again, if I have the actual mouse with me, right, it will still be better. But I can see that the profile, right, I've created, okay, not the best looking, at least not yet. Okay, now I can see from the side view, this one should be here. And these vertices, right, I can move it up so that I can start to follow the curvature of the surface of the mouse. Okay, then for this section here, maybe I want to extrude another few more sections here so that I can create the upper shell. Okay, so what I can do is, let's see, maybe I will select this edge here, then extrude by doing a quick extrude. One section here like that, then go over to the top view, then push this over about halfway to the side like that. Going to my right view again, then I'll need to move the vertices until it follows the shape of the curve like that. So I know this is about halfway or at least near the button here. So go back to my top view again. So the button is actually here, so it should be around here like that. Okay, again you can use top view and the side view at the same time. Yeah, so this one is helpful. So this part here is, this is where the start of the corner of the button is at, so I'm going to bring it lower a bit. And let's see. Yeah, this one should be here, like that. So you can, I don't know whether you can see the reference, but there's a corner over here. So I'm just making sure that it matches my top and bottom view. Alright, so now I can continue to select this edge and shift, move to quick extrude. Can extrude all the way to the center here. Use scale to flatten this, and then just let it overlap slightly. And now you can see that my side view is no longer accurate. I just need to, my top view looks okay, but side view I need to bring this up. Then select the vertex behind and then just bring it down. Okay, so we managed to do the bridging section here. Now this area here, I need another edge loop. So I can middle mouse cut it, then use the vertex, move it to form the top part here. Okay, this one I'm going to leave it here for now. Where is this one? This one should be on the outside, I think. Okay, so now we have to figure out a way to cover this hole. There's a hole here. If I go to level 1 and turn off X-ray, this is the shape I have so far. You can see the number of faces that I have, right, is very minimum. I don't have a lot of faces, so it's easier to model that way. Okay, now if you look over here, we have 2 rows of faces coming down. Now if I want it to follow the correct topological flow, right, I should split this row of faces into 2, okay, so that I can bridge these edges together. So I can bridge them. And then now I can close this hole. So you can see that the top part of my mouse, right, is more or less, the main part is done. I can press 3 to subdivide it, and you can see that the top part is done, but I need to tweak it a little bit. Let's go to the right view. And true enough, I definitely need to tweak this. So go over to vertex, grab this vertex, move it up until it follows the curvature of the drawing. Okay, get it to follow as close as possible. Now, you can see that we have another, we need to create another face loop that goes around here so that it forms this hard edge. So for this section, right now I'm just studying how I should approach this. Okay, so I will have to go and extrude another extra edge or 2 from here until it crosses to this edge here. You can see that I need to create one edge here, and then I need to create another extra loop here. So basically, extrude this face and then extrude it again until it crosses over. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to select these 2 edges first in level 1, and then I'm going to extrude. Okay, and then I'm going to just move it up and rotate. You can use rotate. Okay, and then switch over the vertex mode. Move it into place. Move it all the way to here. All the way to here. Then after that, right, I need to insert another edge loop at the center here. Now before I do that, before I insert another edge loop across here, you need to check your top view. Okay, this time your top view. I got a top view on my left here. I can use that. So use the X-ray. So you can see this newly extruded vertex, right, is sticking up vertically. So this vertex, right, definitely needs to move in right about, not a lot, right, only right about here. Okay, and then this vertex also, it just needs to move all the way to the edge at the corner here. All right. So we only have this vertex and this vertex over here. This vertex is still very close to the edge, right about here. And then finally, we can insert one more edge loop here in the middle, holding down control, middle cut, and then this one will form the edge that we can pull out slightly, just pull out a little bit. So for this one to continue or to join these two together, I have to insert one more edge loop here so that there's enough edges, right, I can connect, or rather enough vertices I can connect. So I'm going to use the weld tool in my toolkit, target weld. So from here, target weld to here, from here, click and drag target weld to here. And I'm going to change my vertex position to here instead. So right now I've formed the upper shell. So I'm going to see what it looks like, right, in subdivided mode. Press number 3. Okay, it almost looks like a sports car like that. Sports car body. Alright, so I see an issue here. Now, the thing is, because our two halves are separate, that's why there's a very hard looking seam in the center. But later when I join both these halves together, right, this seam, this hard seam here should disappear. But let's try to fix the tail section here, because it looks quite rough. It's not very rounded. So I'm going to go over to X-ray mode. Okay, and then I will just gradually and slowly, right, move the vertices until it matches the profile of the reference. So which vertex to move is through experience. After a while, right, you more or less you will know how much you should push and pull the vertices. This is all by experience. That's why I keep saying, if you want to become good in 3D modeling, you have to get your hands dirty and do the work. Okay, so far so good. This one looks about alright. Okay, so now I want to change the flow a little bit. It seems that this particular mouse, right, there's this wave pattern that travels all the way here and then comes down this direction. So I'm going to use the sliding edge option, transform constraint edge slide. I'm going to slide the vertices this direction. So using the edge slide so that the vertex will slide along the edge, right, without changing the angle of the mouse. So sliding also will help me to spread out the vertices. Okay, so that later if I want to cut the holes, like there is the two holes here, right, I'm sliding the vertices until it matches the orientation and flow of the mouse. So by using slide, right, you will not change the shape of the mouse too much. Right, it will still maintain that body shape. Okay, but you cannot move up and down, so you have to turn it off before you can move it up and down. Okay, let's see. Right, so far so good. Sometimes you have to like revolve around, right, in order to make it look rounded. Now you can see the actual mouse itself, right, this section is very, very round and smooth. So that means most likely I have to continue to move this around, push this inwards, right, and then make it more rounded. So again, this one is more by eye already, because like I said, I don't have the reference, right, to see what is it like from behind. Okay, I think this one I might have pushed it too far. Okay, so the key here is you do not want to add too much sections here to your mouse, but I think now it's starting to look much better. Right, so my top shell here is done. Now I can proceed on to do the buttons. Right, the buttons, right, if you look carefully at the reference images, right, they are quite distinctive. Okay, let's look at the top buttons. Yeah. So they are just these shapes here with a slight depression over here. So I don't know whether you can detect this. The shape is very easy to discern. It's just a flat shape like that. However, the most important part here is this depression, the finger depression here. So we want to make sure that we can have a slight depression that goes down. So I want to create a shape, right, with a topology that looks something like that. Okay. Right, so we need to create a shape that is about, it can come out with a plane with 3 subdivisions at least. Okay, so but what I'm going to do is just create a normal plane. So this plane, right, will act as our button. Okay, using the same technique that I always do, I'm going to split this into half. But before I do, reduce the number of subdivisions. Okay, I think this is fine. 2 by 2, I'm going to delete away half. So from this, right, I will create my button. So first, I need to scale it up first. Then I'm going to apply a edit duplicate special. No, I need to bring it up to the mouse button level first, around here. Then edit duplicate special. Since I use the same duplicate X, right, the other half, right, should follow. Now, go to the top view first. And block out the motion by selecting the vertices and block out the mouse button position like that. Like so. See, very low resolution. Now we can worry about the slot later on, but right now I just want to get it to match the shape. So remember in my drawing, right, there is about 2 cuts. So I want to cut one cut here and then one cut here. Maybe before I cut any more further, using these extra buttons, right, I will move the button into position. You can press number 3 to see what does it look like subdivided. Okay, so far the top view is fine, but a right view is obviously incorrect. Okay, so we need to move the vertices correctly into their correct location. So use a split view to help you guys judge. Okay, this one I'll keep it at top. I'm going to use this right view here. So these group of vertices should be much lower. So we're going to push it down right about there. Then these group of vertices should come down here. Now select the outer vertices, then move them down slightly. Move it down slightly. Then this one, move down to the edge like this. This vertex here should be lined up here. This one lined up there. This one close to the top. And then the final vertex right about here. Okay, let me do some fine tuning here. Is there a strong edge there? No. Okay, there might be some lineup issues with the button here because on the reference, right, doesn't seem to match that well. But anyway, I'm going to use, okay, maybe this is from my, this is from my 3D model. So I think the buttons, right, just went all the way out like this. Yes, it actually goes all the way out. All the way out here like this. Yeah. So it should come down to here. So when you have few vertices, right, it is much easier to model. That's why when you guys are modeling this, you don't start out with lots and lots of detail because you got a lot of points to move. Yeah, this one should be correct now. Okay, so right now, let's see, we can, let's see, oh yeah, create a finger depression. Remember the finger depression, it is supposed to be like that. And then there's a center portion that is depressed. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to select this face. oops, I don't want to extrude vertex. Go to select this face and then do an inset extrusion. You can extrude, then yeah, just extrude and then don't do anything. After that, right, just delete away the front face here. Okay, so that we can create this slight depression by moving this face downwards a bit. Just a little bit. All right. So now we have that slight depression. Okay, so let's take a look at it. We have our body, then we have the buttons. So it doesn't look too shabby. You can see that we have that depression. Okay, this depression right now looks a bit too extreme. I need to reduce the size of the face. So just now when I extrude, right, I did not offset it. That's why it formed a very hard edge here, which is not what I want. So let me see whether I can undo. Okay, and then I'm going to extrude again. But this time, okay, I'm going to go over to level 1 and then make sure I do a proper offset. Maybe like this. Yeah. Then the depression would not be so obvious. Or rather, the edge will not be so obvious. So this extra edge, just push it forward like that. If I press number 3 now, and now I can see there is another extra face, but I have not bring down the face yet. So this face should go down slightly. Yeah, so now I can see it's more subtle. Okay, so you can see a very slight depression on the button itself. So these are little tiny details, right? If you can put it into your model, that would be great. Okay. Okay, I need another extra edge loop here. So once you get the shape close, right, that is where you can start to add additional edge loops. Like if you want the shape, right, to hold and match the actual object reference. And also, since I do not want to extrude this as a solid, right, to give the illusion that this thing is a solid, you can do this by selecting the edge, selecting this edge. In fact, select the edge all the way except for the middle. Let me just isolate select. Right. Just select it like this. Oops, I think I accidentally delete the face, is it? Oh, no. Wait. Yeah, so I need to go to object mode, select this part here, and then isolate select. So what I meant just now was I want to select this edge loop all the way to here. Just click and select the side, but not the middle. Okay, select the side like that. Then go and extrude. Extrude one small section and then extrude another section to create a hard edge, so that we create this fake thickness on this button like that. So get off, isolate select and go to shaded mode. And now you can see that our mouse button have some fake thickness to it. So this is not real thickness. Okay, so now we have the buttons done. Now, of course, you can fine-tune it, and you have to fine-tune it because it seems that there's a gap in between here. So now we're going to cut a gap in the center between the wheel well and also the center. So there is actually these two buttons, right? I believe they are separate. Okay, let's take a look. Yes, separate. So we are not supposed to join the two halves together. So we just need to select the center here and move them apart slightly so that they form a gap. And if you want to do this, what do you call that, the slot, okay, you just need to select the correct faces. Now I need to do one edge loop that runs across here so that I don't use too many faces to cut the slot. Maybe one more here. Okay, I don't add too much first. Okay, every time you add an edge loop, please go and adjust the edge loops, right, to get rid of any hard edges. I think I want to stick with this. Alright, so select these faces, then do another extrude, do an offset. Right, then go and delete away the central faces here, and including this one as well, so we can create our hole. So now we created our wheel hole over here. So if I press number 3 now, see we got a hole, so that later we can slot in our mouse wheel here. You see? Now as for the bottom, right, okay, first I want to join these two halves together first. Okay, I haven't saved yet. See, it's still untitled. This is bad habit of mine. So save scene as. Okay, so we want to join these two halves together. So you see in my history, right, there's a lot of history. So I'm going to delete away the history first. Then mesh combine. For this one, right, you have to do mesh combine. Actually, wait, let me try this. Yeah, we're going to delete one half. We're going to use the mirror merge method. It's probably better that way. Okay, so delete the other half. Use the edit mesh mirror. Yeah, this one much better. See, it merged the center for me. So right now, you look at the center, there's no more seam anymore. Okay, so we still need to tweak this center portion here. Go to vertex mode and X-ray. And now we need to move these vertices higher so that it maintains the curved look like that. Okay, remember these are the central vertices. This one I just, oops. Now there are two halves of it already, so you have to be very careful and move the vertices. Okay, this one is here. That's fine. This one goes here. Okay. I think I got the shape that I want. Okay, maybe this one here needs to be up here. And this one seems to be, yeah, it collapses inside because there's a USB charging area there. Alright, so now I got the mouse, but actually, just for the mouse, right, I think I'm spending too much time on the mouse, right? Because at the end of it, right, your mouse will be so small in your screen, right, nobody can really see it also. And no one can see all the beautiful details that you've added in. So the thing is, you have to decide like how much time should I spend on modeling the item. Otherwise, right, you will run out of time for modeling other things like refining your chair and all that. Okay, so now I'm just going to my top view, right, just to get the shape to match the mouse. Okay, I think I have a phantom vertex here. I'm going to delete this. Not supposed to be there. Right. Yeah, I think I like this. It looks good. Okay, I need to fix this area later on, but so far so good. It looks pretty okay. Okay, I think I need to cover up this area here before this part here will look better. And I think I've accidentally merged. Okay, some weird topology going on around here. Let me see what's going on. Okay. Something is not right here. I think, yeah, there's a collapsed face over here. I'm going to delete away this face and join these two vertices instead. These two, and okay, I need to turn away, turn off this. Shift right mouse click, merge the center, yeah. So when I press number 3 to subdivide. Yeah, now it looks much better. Okay, so you have to watch out for any topological errors. Okay, I'm going to create a cylinder. And just going to pop this up. Scale it up. Then rotate this. This is going to be just a stand-in for my mouse wheel. Okay, move it roughly to the center and then scale it up non-uniformly. Okay, then we can work on the mouse later. Now that I've got my bottom border done, right, you can select the border. You can see the border, it selects all the way to the around, right? What I'm going to do is I'm going to fill it up. Now, before I do, right, I'm just going to duplicate this because I don't want to work on the original. Okay, because this one already have a very nice, what I call edge at the bottom. So select the bottom edge loop, and then I'm going to extrude a section, a tiny section together. Okay, just a tiny section, just a little bit. And then after that, right, I'm going to extrude again. Extrude edge. And then I'm going to just non-uniform scale them inwards like this. But I don't want to connect them. Okay, just a piece like that. Alright, then I'm going to delete away the rest of the faces, because I'm going to use this flat plane, right, to create my bottom. So for this top part here, I'm going to get rid of these top faces. Well, actually, I can do this. Select this edge, select this edge, use to select, double click and select this loop. Right, this loop is now selected, right? Then shift full stop to increase selection. Then shift comma, right, to reduce selection. Okay, actually I select the wrong. Actually I want to keep this loop. Yeah, I want to select the bottom one, yeah. Then select invert, then delete away the top faces. I wanted to keep only this bottom part because this is the bottom part that I'll be using to create my the bottom base. So for the base, right, for the inner loop, right, I'm just going to temporarily fill up the hole first. Just fill the hole. Okay, it's going to look terrible, but I'm just going to keep it like that first. So we got this giant flat face. Going to move it down until it matches the bottom, like so. Okay, then all I need to do is just to extrude and the section, right, out by selecting all the faces. So go to select all the faces by double clicking and then extrude out the face. You can apply the thickness all the way down like that. Okay, now if you go to the right view, right, you can see that we have a strong thickness like that, and you can see when I extrude down, there's a slight angle, right? There's an angle going like this because of the design of this particular mouse. So what I'm going to do is select the center face, then shift full stop to increase selection. I only want to select the bottom face. Then watch this. I'm going to apply a scale and non-uniformly in the y-axis scale it down. See that? Perfect flatness. Then I can move this up. So now I got my bottom more or less done. But in order to maintain the shape, I need to bevel the edges. So let me just isolate and show you guys what it looks like. So view isolated, not this one. Need to be in object mode. So go to object mode first, then go to show, isolate, select. And I'm going to select the edges at the bottom here. So you can see it runs across. Then I will apply a bevel. Okay, just a single segment bevel. Now what about the top here? Can anyone see the top here? No, it's going to be hidden, right? So I don't need this face anymore. I also don't need this loop that runs across like that. Don't need it anymore. So the bottom part here is done. If I press number 3, it should maintain the same shape and outline. But what about the bottom here? The bottom here is a mess. The topology is a mess. So that's where you need some work to be done. You need to go and select the opposing vertex, then apply a connect. Right, then you have to use the knife tool. Right, use the knife tool, multi-cut tool rather. Click on this edge and this vertex to connect. Manually connect them together. So what we are doing is we are going to create four-sided faces. So the opposing side, since we mirrored this side, right, should be the same. Now why we can't use connect? Because we have an edge that is blocking our way. So now we have to just use this to create our four-sided faces. And then finally here, from here to here. So now if I press 3 to subdivide, it's going to look nice. Okay, here, why is there a mess here? Because just now I did not intercept the vertex in the center. So just go in and see, and true enough, I'm actually cutting through two edges here. So I'm going to select this edge, press Ctrl Delete to dissolve it, go to vertex, select this vertex, then go over to the toolkit, use the target well to well from here to here. Then we fix that problem. Press number 3, then we can see the subdivision should be fine. Yeah, see? It actually looks like bottom of a slipper, but we got the correct angle and everything. Then when we get out of isolate view, our mouse is like pretty close. Okay, there's this area here which I need to extrude to fix the edge. Okay, actually let's quickly do that right now. Isolate, select this. Okay, and I'm gonna just select the open edge, double click to select the open edge like that, extrude an edge and then just push it in like this. Okay, I'm gonna extrude another edge, Ctrl E again, and then just extrude just a tiny little bit. This is just to hold the thickness here. Then when we press number 3, now I can see that it has a fake thickness going around the mouse. Then I can get out of isolate view. Okay, the button here also, if you go over to the edge, right, and select this, we can also create the fake thickness. Okay, I'm just going to start from here, this edge, and all the way to this edge. Then extrude and just push it in slightly. Okay, the angle looks a bit odd. Do another extrude, pull out another section. Okay, the angle is off lah, but anyway, just want to quickly show you guys this. This one requires a lot of work. Let me just undo this. I don't like what I'm seeing. Okay, I think the tutorial again has gone long enough. You can spend time to tweak this to fix the edges, right, until it doesn't have the overlapping issue like this, like what we're having over here. Alright, but I would say that the mouse, essentially the most difficult sessions, right, are done. And you can see that I use very little subdivision, or I use very little faces, right, to create this surface. Right, so this is the kind of approach that you guys should apply when you're doing your 3D modeling. Alright. Okay, of course there's still a lot of tweaking that needs to be done, but I think based on what I've done, right, I think this one look okay. Alright, just need a little bit more tweaking. Alright, that I will end the video because we're almost nearing the end of class.